Somewhere beneath the surface of the ocean, where sunlight dissolves into darkness and pressure bends reality itself, there is a mind unlike anything we once believed possible in an invertebrate world. For decades, we thought intelligence had a familiar shape: a backbone, a warm-blooded brain, a lineage that led toward mammals, birds, and ultimately ourselves. Everything else, we assumed, was instinct. But the ocean has a way of undoing certainty. And in its most alien corners, one creature continues to challenge everything we thought we knew about intelligence itself. The octopus. Not a fish, not a reptile, not even close to anything that shares our evolutionary path. Yet it solves problems, escapes
Perfectly
containment,
matched to its
recognizes
surroundings,
patterns,
the octopus
and behaves
waits,
in ways
balancing
that feel
invisibility and
disturbingly
awareness
intentional,
until the right
as if
moment to
something
act.
is looking back at us from the depths and thinking. The question is no longer whether octopuses are intelligent. The question is, how far does that intelligence go? And why did we underestimate it for so long? To understand this mystery, we must descend into their world. Beneath coral reefs, rocky seabeds, and cold abyssal plains, octopuses live in environments that seem designed to erase them. There are no shells for protection, no herd for safety, no permanent home in most species, only vulnerability and the constant pressure of survival. Yet they thrive. An octopus can vanish into its surroundings in less than a second, its skin rewriting itself like living code. Color shifts ripple across its body, not just for camouflage,
This
but for
measured behavior
communication,
suggests more than
deception,
instinct,
and possibly
an
even
adaptive
emotional
response
expression.
based on sensory
Its
input
body
and
is
prior
soft,
experience.
almost liquid in motion, allowing it to pass through openings no larger than a coin. And at the center of this fluid anatomy lies something astonishing: a nervous system that does not obey the rules we expect. Unlike vertebrates, where the brain is centralized, an octopus distributes much of its neural processing throughout its arms. Each arm contains clusters of neurons capable of making decisions independently. In a sense, the octopus is not one mind, but many minds working in coordination. And yet, somehow, it remains unified. For years, scientists believed this was simply advanced instinct, a complex set of pre-programmed behaviors shaped by evolution. But then came the experiments that changed everything. In controlled environments, octopuses began doing something unexpected. They learned not just repetition-based learning, but flexible problem-solving. They could open jars to access food inside. They could navigate mazes. They could remember solutions over time and apply them again days or even weeks later. In one laboratory observation, an octopus was seen repeatedly targeting specific equipment it associated with food delivery. When the pattern changed, it adapted almost immediately. It did not simply react. It anticipated. Even more unsettling were reports of individual personality differences. Some octopuses were curious, exploring every corner of their environment. Others were cautious, observing before acting. A few displayed what researchers cautiously described as playful behavior, repeatedly manipulating objects with no apparent survival benefit. Play. In a creature we once thought was driven only by survival. But intelligence reveals itself most clearly under pressure. In the wild, octopuses are both predator and prey. They hunt crabs, mollusks, and small fish with precision. They use stealth, patience, and explosive bursts of speed. Their arms test crevices like probing fingers, reading the environment in real time. Some species have been observed using tools. Shells, coconut halves, even discarded debris become mobile shelters. The octopus carries them across the seafloor, assembling portable armor against predators. This is not instinctive behavior seen uniformly across populations. It appears to be learned, sometimes even improvised. A behavior that blurs the line between instinct and invention. And perhaps more strangely, octopuses seem to watch. In aquariums, individuals have been recorded observing human caretakers, tracking their movements with focused attention. Some have learned schedules, predicting when food will arrive. Others have been known to interact selectively with specific individuals, while ignoring others entirely, as if recognition is occurring, as if memory is being formed not just about events, but about beings. this growing body of evidence forces a difficult question. How did such intelligence evolve in a creature so distant from us on the tree of life? The octopus lineage split from our own more than 500 million years ago, long before vertebrates dominated the oceans, long before intelligence was associated with large centralized brains. And yet, evolution arrived at a similar destination through an entirely different route. Instead of bones protecting a growing brain, octopuses developed distributed neural systems. Instead of long lifespans, they evolved rapid learning within relatively short lives. Instead of social groups, they became masters of individual adaptation. Some scientists now suggest that octopus intelligence is not a simplified version of ours, but a parallel form of cognition, one that may operate on principles we do not yet fully understand, a mind without a skeleton to define it. In the ecosystem, this intelligence plays out like a silent negotiation between hunter and hunted. Fish learn to recognize octopus hunting strategies and adjust their behavior accordingly. Crabs develop defensive postures and hiding patterns. In response, octopuses refine their approach, becoming more precise, more deceptive, more efficient. It is not a static food chain. It is an evolving arms race of cognition. Every interaction carries information. Every failed hunt becomes data. Every escape shapes future behavior. And beneath it all, the octopus adapts, constantly rewriting its strategy for survival. Yet despite decades of study, the most unsettling aspect of octopus intelligence is not what we understand. It is what we do not. We still cannot fully explain how a creature with such a short lifespan can exhibit such complex learning. We cannot map how distributed neurons produce unified decision-making. And we cannot determine whether behaviors we interpret as curiosity or play are truly comparable to our own experiences of those states. Even their relationship with memory remains partially hidden. Do octopuses remember in the way we do? Or do they reconstruct experience each time it is needed, like patterns emerging from a living network rather than stored records? And perhaps the most profound question of all, what is it like to be an octopus? A question science cannot yet answer, but one that becomes harder to ignore with every new discovery. As researchers continue to observe them in laboratories and in the wild, reports have emerged that challenge even cautious interpretation. Octopuses escaping tanks and traveling through plumbing systems. Individuals returning to specific locations repeatedly. Interactions that seem too deliberate to dismiss as coincidence. And still, the deeper ocean holds its secrets tightly. Because somewhere beyond the reach of light, octopuses live lives we are only beginning to glimpse. And in those hidden spaces, intelligence is not something we measure. It is something we are slowly realizing we may have misunderstood entirely. But the most important discovery has not yet been made. Because in one final observation, one that researchers still struggle to explain, an octopus did something that no one expected. It looked back, not at prey, not at movement, but at the observer. And what it saw remains unknown. The moment the octopus appeared to return the gaze of the observer, something shifted in the way scientists began to interpret everything that came after. Because if that moment was not coincidence, not randomness, but awareness, then the implications stretch far beyond marine biology. They reach into philosophy, neuroscience, and the very definition of consciousness itself. In laboratories across the world, octopuses continue to defy expectations. In one controlled study, individuals were placed inside mazes designed to eliminate trial and error shortcuts. The pathways changed, the rewards shifted, and yet, the octopuses adapted with a speed that suggested something more than learning. They were not simply remembering routes. They were constructing strategies. When familiar paths disappeared, they did not freeze or repeat failed attempts endlessly, as many simpler organisms would. Instead, they explored with intention, as if testing the environment for hidden rules. Some researchers described it cautiously as insight-like behavior, a phrase carefully chosen because it avoids claiming what science cannot yet prove. But perhaps the most unsettling discoveries did not come from problem solving. They came from behavior when no task was given at all. In enriched environments, octopuses do something unexpected. They explore objects repeatedly, not for food, not for escape, but for interaction itself. They push, pull, rotate, and dismantle objects with a level of variation that suggests experimentation rather than repetition. In some cases, they appear to manipulate currents of water using their arms in rhythmic patterns, almost like exploration through sensation itself. And then there are moments of stillness. Long pauses where the octopus stops moving entirely, suspended in place, as if processing something invisible. We are left to interpret what we see through human frameworks. Curiosity, boredom, tension. But none of these words fully belong to a creature so distant from our own evolutionary path. Even more intriguing is what happens when octopuses rest. For a long time, sleep in cephalopods was thought to be simple inactivity. But detailed observations revealed cycles of active sleep that resemble something strikingly familiar. Skin patterns flicker rapidly. Coloration changes in bursts. The body subtly shifts as if reacting to internal events rather than external stimuli. Some scientists now cautiously suggest that octopuses may experience a form of dreaming. Not dreams as humans know them, shaped by language and memory narratives, but something more primal. Replayed fragments of experience. Hunting sequences. Escape responses. Environmental maps reconstructed in the absence of the world itself. If true, it suggests that octopus brains do not merely react to reality. They simulate it. And yet, their intelligence is not built like ours. The octopus brain is shaped around distribution, not hierarchy. A large portion of their neurons reside in their arms, meaning each limb can process sensory input and initiate action independently. In essence, each arm may know something the central brain does not. This raises a profound question. Who is making the decision? Is there a single unified self directing all action? Or is consciousness in the octopus something more fragmented, a coalition of semi-independent systems negotiating behavior in real time? We assume unity is required for intelligence. The octopus suggests otherwise. Genetic studies have added another layer of mystery. Octopuses possess an unusually large and complex genome for an invertebrate, with extensive gene regulation activity in the nervous system. Even more surprising, they show high levels of RNA editing in brain tissue. This means their neural proteins can be altered after genetic transcription, allowing rapid changes in function without changes to DNA itself. In simple terms, their brains may be able to reconfigure themselves dynamically during life.
Along the
A form of
submerged
biological
ridge,
flexibility
the octopus
that
hunts
challenges
in the
our
twilight
understanding
zone,
of how learning
where
and
light
memory
begins
are
to
stored.
fade into the
It is
abyss.
as if evolution gave them not just intelligence, but adaptability at the molecular level. In the wild, this adaptability becomes survival. Octopuses facing predators do not rely on a single strategy. They shift between camouflage, deception, and rapid escape depending on context. Some species perform astonishing acts of mimicry, reshaping their bodies and behavior to resemble more dangerous animals. Others rely on near-perfect camouflage, disappearing into coral or rock so completely that even trained observers struggle to detect them. But the most remarkable adaptations are not always defensive. Some are strategic. There are documented cases of octopuses luring prey by subtly adjusting their position and movement, creating false cues that lead fish or crabs directly into striking range. This is not passive hunting. It is behavioral manipulation of another organism's perception. And still, despite all this evidence, we are left with a gap that science has not yet bridged. Because intelligence is not just behavior, it is experience. It is awareness, and we do not yet know whether octopuses experience anything resembling inner life. We can measure reaction times. We can track neural activity. We can document learning and memory. But none of these measurements can confirm what it feels like to exist as an octopus. A creature with no bones, no face in the human sense, no shared evolutionary story that leads toward us. And yet, a mind that repeatedly forces us to reconsider what minds are capable of becoming. Perhaps the most difficult idea to accept is that intelligence may not be singular in its origin. that evolution, given enough time and pressure, can produce cognition in multiple forms, each shaped by entirely different constraints. The octopus did not evolve to think like us. It evolved to survive in a world where thinking itself had to be reinvented. Solitary, short-lived, vulnerable, and yet astonishingly capable of solving problems that require foresight, flexibility, and adaptation. It is intelligence built without a blueprint we recognize. As research continues, more questions emerge than answers. Why do octopuses exhibit such variation in behavior between individuals? How does a distributed nervous system create coordinated decision-making? And most importantly, where does consciousness begin in a system like this? Is it located in the central brain? Or does it emerge from the interaction of thousands of semi-independent neural networks spread across the body? We do not yet know. In deep ocean environments, far from human observation, octopuses continue their silent existence. Hiding, hunting, learning, adapting. Each generation passing on no written record, no social institutions, no long-term cultural memory as we understand it. And yet, each individual seems capable of building a rich internal model of its environment within a single lifetime. A fleeting intelligence, intense, efficient, and still largely invisible to us. The more we study them, the more they seem to sit at the edge of what we can define. Not simply animals with unusual abilities, but something closer to an alternative experiment in intelligence itself. One that diverged from our path hundreds of millions of years ago and never looked back. Or perhaps it did. Perhaps that is what unsettles us most. The possibility that intelligence does not need to resemble us to recognize us. And so we return to the image that began this journey. A creature in the depths, a silent observer in a world without light, turning towards something it should not recognize, and yet responding as if it does. We may never fully understand what lies behind those shifting patterns of skin and motion. But with every discovery, one certainty becomes clearer. We were wrong to assume intelligence has only one form, and we may still be underestimating what the ocean is capable of producing. Because somewhere below the surface, in the darkness beyond human reach, the octopus continues to think. And we are only beginning to realize it may have been thinking far longer than we have been watching.